Do you want to start then? Yeah, tell us a little bit about Hive in general. I mean, we all know it's a blockchain because it's called Hive blockchain, but tell us about some of the strengths and how it's used.
All right. So, like Hive is a dedicated proof of stake blockchain. Uh, we all have heard about that, I guess. It started as a proof of work blockchain in the past called Steam. So now it's a DPoS. It's completely decentralized because it's. I don't know if you guys have heard about the Justin Sun hostile takeover of Steam. How many of you guys have heard about that? Kind of curious about that. No
I guess
one,
not.
no one, no one, no one. Okay, okay,
Well,
okay.
Sniper knows.
Okay, so Sniper did. Sniper, he's also from Hive. Welcome, man. What's up? He's from Crypto Shots. I think he has the tournament going on earlier today, or is it still going on? All right, so basically, in a nutshell, Justin Sun, the asshole, if I may, he did a hostile takeover on Steam, and the community was like, "Well, no, we're not gonna comply to these centralized aspects of the blockchain. So you know what? We're just gonna hard fork." And the entire community they came together and they started Hive. So Hive has no pre-mine, it has no venture capital, it has it's like driven by the community. So basically, you can't get more decentralized than that, in my opinion, since it has no funding, it has no interest, it has no incentive to get more money out of it as an investor, for example. So everybody on Hive, they are just like in the same boat. So if someone else grows, you grow as well. So that's one of the biggest things that I think is like, hey, this is good. And then there's also like the technical aspects of the blockchain, like fast transactions, 1.8 seconds on average block verification. So that's super fast, I guess. And in a block, I think you can have like 10,000 transactions per second. Another beautiful thing about it is like there's no transaction fees, which basically means that you can do whatever you want when you're operating on the blockchain. Well, I mean, like no transaction cost. It costs a little bit of resource credits. It's something new. So basically, what it means is like you have a battery in your wallet, and it regenerates over time. This kind of immediately solves the problem of spam, like spam bots, to prevent them from overflooding the blockchain with bullshit transactions. What else? I mean, like Hive is a text-based blockchain, which basically means that anything text-based you can put on the blockchain. So how can I put it? Like Hive is, to me, a big engine, like a big motor, very powerful. And it just translates anything that's text-related into something else. It stores it on the blockchain. And then other people can come across on the blockchain, and then they can start building on top of it. So, for example, Facebook, we all know Facebook. Facebook is like Web 2, super centralized. It has a central point of failure. And any developer, any front-end developer or full-stack developer can build on top of Hive and create their own interface on top of it. And a lot of other people can do the same thing. So you can have 10 or 20, 100 different interfaces, and they all can get parts of the blockchain that is being stored, like the information that's being stored in the blocks. They can render it out to different aspects of their interface. So they don't have to render every block. They can choose. So you can make a private interface on Hive, but you can also make like a public interface on Hive, such as we have PeakD, we got Essency, Like2, Leo Finance. So basically, Leo Finance is an equivalent of Twitter. It has like almost the same interface of Twitter, which is nice. And people can just tweet there, what we call them threads, and they get rewards for sending short form content. And on PeakD, it's more like Reddit, I guess. I think you can compare it more with Reddit and Facebook combined. And you will see a lot of people using PeakD for long form content, for gamers. So people, they use Twitch. So basically, Breakman, if you had a Hive account, you could basically put this Twitch feed of yours on the blockchain, and people would follow it, and they can interact with it, and then you could get rewards from it. And on the other side, you could also reward your audience for spending time with you and your Twitch live stream. Yes, so I'm just a regular user. I'm a big user. I've been on Hive for 5 years now, 5 years plus. So Hive is like, I always try to explain it in an easy way, but I always end up in making it a little bit more complex. So I don't think we should talk about the voting mechanism in the way like the battery, because that can make things a lot of more complex than it is actually. So anyone can just start on Hive. They can just create an account for free. It doesn't cost you anything. You don't even have to invest anything, especially if you're content creator. It's a no-brainer for me to at least, well, if you're a blockchain enthusiast as well, to have an account on Hive, especially if you're a Twitch user as well, or just a gamer and you record your content. So it's free. It's free for anyone. You start with a little bit of resource credits. So people just first start with an introduction post, and then they get some votes in, and then they build up a little bit of resource credits, enough for them to start building a Web3 presence on Hive. So basically, how does the voting system work? Or the reward system? Let's first start with the reward system. How I like to explain it is that every day there's a huge pie, and everybody can get a piece of the pie. But only stakeholders can distribute a piece of the pie. So if you hold nothing, you can still distribute nothing, or just a little bit. So once you start out, you start growing, and you start being able to distribute more of the rewards to your favorite content creator. And the bigger stakeholders, so they can give a bigger portion of the pie to other content creators. So that's basically how it works in a very short nutshell.
Thank you. Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
And how the voting mechanism works is like it's a battery. It's like 100% charged battery. And if you give a 100% upvote, you see, it's already getting a little bit more complex right now, because you can give a 1% or 2%, 5%, 10%, 50% upvote of your piece of the pie divided by your voting charge. So, for example, you post something on Hive, and I think, hey, this is super cool, and I'm the first one that likes it. And my vote is worth about 30 cents, 40 cents, well, no, 37 cents or something in crypto. And I can do that 10 times a day. So my entire daily pool of rewards is like almost $4. So I can give $4 to people in a single day. So I see your content and I vote on it. And there's a gap of 7 days. Like people have to wait 7 days until the rewards are settled, and then you can start claiming your rewards. So an author, they get like 50% of the rewards, and the curators, they get also 50% of the rewards. If there's only one curator, like one person who likes your post, then the 50% is all theirs. If there are two, the 50% is divided by two. But not in equal share, but more in a way like, hey, this is how much stake I have, so I hold like X percentage of the vote value. But because you're earlier with the vote, then you can get a little bit more. So you get like a reward for your time, for discovery, for reading the post, for contributing to the post. And then there are people that can comment on your post, and you as a content creator can reward your audience. And I honestly think that this is the next step of Web3, to build a Web3 presence and a really community building. Like Hive is super community building. Hold up, let me see, because Crimson Clad is saying
Oh,
something.
it's fine. I'm actually here.
Hey, how's it going, Crimson?
Hey guys.
Nice.
Hey, you're here.
I am. Sorry, I got in a little late. It's one of those things that always happens where you hop out of a meeting and your browser's like, hey, let's restart the browser. Just wait 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Okay.
It's fine.
It happens.
Intentionally late, enjoying all of the wonderful information that's being shared.
Fantastic. Yeah, we're streaming on the NFTOPIA stream. If anybody here is hearing the echo, make sure that on the right, the Twitch is pinned there. Make sure it's muted. But Ruben here, he gave us a little overview, and we were talking about the voting also for earning rewards. And Sniper also chimed in because he does Hive. But maybe you can also take it away. Tell us more about Hive and what, in general, what it's doing and why we should all be getting accounts for it.
Well, obviously, I'd love to just kind of listen to what our fabulous gentlemen were talking about. But I will say, if we're just going to kind of stay on that last question just for a second, one of the sort of easiest ways to think about voting with Hive, I know it sounds ridiculous and it's very attractive to be like, it's all about interacting and earning. But one of the easiest ways to kind of prime your brain for understanding Hive is thinking about, how is it that I want to see crypto in my ecosystem distributed? We think about chains out there that have miners and the mass distribution goes to the miners. But in a social network, in a crypto network or a Web3 environment, the whole focus is on interaction between people. And one of the most important things for a usable cryptocurrency, or even for a valuable cryptocurrency, is that you would love to see more people have it and more people using it. So the easiest way to kind of wrap your head around Hive is to think, if I could share crypto with all of my friends, doing the things that I do with them normally, what would that look like? And the answer to that is, well, I liked their post. I commented on their post. I upvoted something they did. I made a post myself. All of the things that I do on social media are valuable. They represent interactions. What would happen if, while I was having those regular interactions and building relationships the same way that I do in Web 2, if also I was helping to more widely distribute a token? What if I was building a more valuable and censorship-resistant network because I was helping to spread a token wider and wider to more and more people? That's what Hive is all about. Forget having, one arbiter of truth. Forget having one set of really rich miners that make all the money and have all the tokens. And you start thinking about it a little less about money. It's an important part for sure. It's the value that you get in a cryptocurrency. But you start thinking about it as, am I sharing the benefits of this network with my friends? Fast, free transactions, no gas because I want to play a game with my buds, or, the ability to send some crypto or a memo around the world, encrypted public messages that I could put out there. They take less than a second and they cost me nothing. These are really, really valuable things that are valuable in a different way than money. And all of these become possible for you as a content creator the second you start using Hive. And these are things that people forget about as a content creator and a content consumer, but they're really important to your day-to-day life. And a lot of the social options that are out there and a lot of the crypto space right now doesn't focus on those, and it doesn't assign value to them. So you've got we can earn a little bit of money with no money up front, or you can build up a little crypto nest egg and spend it on assets to play games or cool NFTs. Any of the financial reasons you might get into Hive. There's also this sort of added benefit of, I'm helping to further distribute a network. I'm participating in a more equitable, more human space that is building places that protect me, my business, my friends, the things that I want to engage with. And these are really valuable points above and beyond what we kind of just think about as the voting mechanism of Hive. So it's a really long, roundabout way to say that every time you make a vote, you're distributing tokens further and you're building the network bigger. It's an interesting way of thinking about it, and it's different than any other crypto out there. There's nothing like it.
Yeah, exactly. You can compare it to social media on blockchain with crypto pings and rewards happening for your social media interactions. That's a good way to kind of describe it.
Hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah, I totally agree.
And
Beautiful set, Grim.
Yeah, sorry to just come barging in. So yeah, if people want to ask questions, I'm just gonna kind of chill and listen too. It's really cool. Sniper's here. I was gonna call you by your other name. Sniper here is Ruben's here. I'm seeing some familiar faces, so I'm excited to hear some questions from people who maybe we haven't seen at previous events, which is pretty cool.
yeah, if anyone
Lots of
has
people in the chat today.
questions about Hive, maybe Sniper, if you wanted to get on mic and explain how a game you would use Hive, because I'm not sure. We just talked about like social media, but how would Crypto Shots use Hive? Like, I know there's games on there. Or anyone else want to chime in? If you've written articles on Hive, let us know. Have you earned any money on Hive, or anything? Any kind of questions?
Well, I am a content creator on Hive.
Do you get do you have like some rating like on how, like your experience level, how much you've published and earned and stuff like that?
I can actually check it out for you. Give me a second. All right. So during my 5 years of time on Hive as a content creator, I've earned as an author 14,000 Hive. And with my curation, like this engaging with other people, I've earned about 3,100 Hive. So a total of 16,000 Hive, which is in the bear market prices about $6,500.
So there was a question in there too. I mean, Ruben's killing it, man. But if you have never gone, go look at his profile. It's a great example of somebody taking gorgeous photos and writing about their life and sort of exploring all different facets of content creation. Sorry, Ruben, you don't get a choice. I'm shouting you out here.
Oh, shit.
Exploring his, professional journey, in that, he's always been a professional photographer, but he's exploring things for the network, like learning how to do motion graphics and things like that. But you're right. There is a measurement of how active you've been on Hive. There is a reputation system. And when this comes up, I often say like, oh, and I see another question in the chat, so we'll grab that too. But so yes, we do have a reputation system, and you'll find that the more that you post and the more upvotes that you receive over time, your reputation will go up. Now, this is one of those things that I always say is it's useful to a point, in that it shows that you've been around the network and you've been active. But once you start getting up into the really, really high reaches, one of the most sort of prominent indicators is that it's of consistency and that you've put in a long time on the network, which is an important part of reputation. But the flip side is that the second you start coming to Hive, and this is something that I speak at a bunch of conferences and places that I go, you're building a reputation and an identity instantly. And the nice thing about that is it's yours to control. What you post about, the things that you upvote, the people that you want to interact with, the relationships you build, these are all part of your reputation in the real world. Think about it. Who do you know? How do you treat the people you work with? What communities do you help build? These are all things that are publicly recorded in the Hive blockchain. So while we do have an at-a-glance reputation number, which really directly correlates to how hard you've been working and how much content you've created on chain, it's not the be-all end-all of reputation. Arguably, your Hive wallet address, that name that represents you, is an identity and has a reputation. And that reputation, depending on what metric you want to measure by, has your history of the things you've contributed to, the things that you've written, the things you've voted for. And you could build this incredible reputation that's time-stamped along the way, and you do it voluntarily. It's not information that is collected without your knowledge or shared without your knowledge. And these are the parts of reputation that maybe don't have a number, but that are really, really awesome in this space, because someone can come to your profile or look at your blockchain history and get to know you. And they may hire you for a job. They may ask you for a collab. They may become one of your followers. And however that reputation is interpreted, you have a lot of control over it and you have ownership over it. And so again, it kind of comes back to that idea that yes, there's monetary value there, but there's sort of an intrinsic value beyond that. This identity, you own it. No one can take it from you and you're in full control of it. And that identity and that reputation don't rely on a stupid little piece of plastic that the government gives you, or, what Zuckerberg allows you to post until he doesn't, or the handle that you had until Elon had a snit fit and took it from you because he's a bit of a wiener. These are all things that you don't have to worry about on Hive. And one of the really important things is that as you are working in other blockchain ecosystems that maybe don't necessarily have a developed reputation system, it doesn't mean you leave that chain and you stop using it. Building the best tool set you can for the best and most fulfilling Web3 experience is the most important thing. And so one of the things that I've been working on a lot recently, and a lot of Hive people are so great at, is getting people from other ecosystems to start talking about their wax projects or their NFT collections or the things that they're doing in other ecosystems that you can expand upon inside of Hive. Hive is meant to be collaborative. People always say, well, so I got to buy a bunch of tokens or I won't make it. Absolutely not. And it's so voluntary. And so anytime we have these great chats with smart people like these guys here, it's amazing to me that I get to voluntarily spend time with them. And I get to use these tools for free to do what I want to do. And so it's a big thing, when we have these chats and these meetings, that I always want to get as many of you that are interested as possible is coming into the ecosystem, and at the very least kind of camping your name and getting a chance to look around and start thinking about the possibilities of, well, what if I share a link to my very favorite wax NFT and I put that into the Hive blockchain as part of my permanent identity? That's a thing you can do. And so, it kind of branches into a question that somebody had about, could you immediately start using Hive in tandem with Wax or another blockchain to build a project? And the answer is yes. And I promise I won't bogart the stage too much more. But the really, really sort of quick answer to that is Hive has open source software. It has free access infrastructure. So our full sort of RPC infrastructure is provided by node runners in the community. You can literally start querying RPCs right away for free if you're technically inclined. What that means is you can go straight to the blockchain and start asking for information. You can use Hive SQL, which is funded by our DAO. If that's not familiar to you, don't worry about it. But for the devs, that means you can literally grab big tables of data. And you can grab them on a lot of people, or if you're running your own project, you can put that data into the Hive blockchain and grab it for free. It's free blockchain-based text storage for whatever you want, including things like custom JSON, which means all of a sudden, anything you want to build on your own website that you need immutable decentralized storage for, you can immediately start doing it on Hive, and you don't have to pay for any of it. You basically can come and start using the network, and bonus points if you want to build that into your social strategy, or you want to immediately integrate Hive keychain, you suddenly have an entire user base that's already primed and ready to go. And it's all can be done easily with common web languages. If you know JavaScript or Python, you're good to go. You don't have to know Solidity or Rust. So hopefully that's good on the dev front.
Nice. It's actually one thing that I want to jump in on. So when you said making connections are very valuable on Hive. So since I joined Hive, I made a lot of valuable connections. I made a lot of friends that I hold very dearly and close to me. And one of those friends, they actually hired me for a job to go to Paris and photo shoot their exhibition in the Louvre. So I was like, what the hell, I know this person from Hive. She's a very good friend of mine, and she just asked me to photograph, to go to Paris. I live in the Netherlands, to go to Paris to take some pictures of her work. So this is one of the beautiful things on Hive, also with the reputation system. When you reach a certain point of a level of the reputation, people are instantly knowing how trustworthy you are. If you're just starting out, I think you start with 25 reputation, and people immediately will know that, hey, this is a new person, so let's see what this person is all about. So when you go to 50, if you're like active on the Hive, you can easily get to 50. So that this person has developed a more interest in Hive. And as you grow further to the 60s or the 70s, people are going to see how much effort you have put into the blockchain as a community. So you are a community member of the entire ecosystem. And the longer that you have been on Hive, the more, it's not like the more trustworthy you are, because there's also offline reputation, like Crimson Clad. She does a lot of things for Hive in the background. She works her ass off, and I don't understand why. I know why, because I love Hive as well. But I understand that she is doing it for the greater good, to distribute more love and more knowledge and information about Hive. So for me, for example, as well, I'm a regular user, and I've been asked to do this AMA. I have no idea what I'm doing. This is the first time I'm doing an AMA ever.
No worries.
And
You're doing great.
Yeah, I think you presented everything great so far. It's awesome.
Nice. Thanks. I was actually trying. Yeah, so this is actually something that I can mention, because I was actually trying to practice my speech, because my mind, it goes really fast sometimes, so I can't keep up with my words. So I shared this on Hive, like, hey, this is my first practice speech. And there was a video, like almost 1 hour long, about anything that came to mind. And people, they give me feedback on how I was speaking. So I did another one and another one, and you grow as a person, and the community has your back. Wow. I think that's really
awesome. So you were posting feedback, or like, yeah, like posting to your fans, like, hey, what do you think of this? But this is on, they're getting rewarded also for like interacting, and that's a good thing to. You got a community like that that'll look at your stuff like that. That's perfect to improve whatever you're doing, like whether it's a speech or a creative thing. Like, here's the preliminary version, here's what I'm working on, what do you think? We've talked about this in other streams about like wax projects and doing that on Twitter or Discord, but yeah, this is great. I'm glad you did that. You really dove into this. You're like, I'm gonna do an hour speech, and I'm gonna get feedback. I'm gonna plan this all out. That's awesome. Love to hear it.
Yeah, it was really scary for me. So I just went like, hey, shit, I feel scared. So this is the moment that I need to do it, because you can only grow if you're getting out of your comfort zone.
Love it.
And on top of that, like you mentioned, like fans, right? Like fans can interact with me, but it can also be foes. Like, no one really has to agree with you on the blockchain. And I think this is really something special, because we don't have to agree with everybody all the time, and that makes decentralization, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Because you can't mute someone. I can mute someone, but it will always be on chain. Whatever the person has been saying to me, it will always be on chain, and I think that's super valuable, because no one will be left out. Everybody's voice is being heard, even the voices that you don't agree with. And I can see value in that as well. Like, I don't have to agree with that.
As far as that topic goes, everybody, bad feedback is constructive feedback, even if they're mean, y'all.
Yeah.
If you've ever like made YouTube videos and whatnot and got more than 10 views, the hate comments end up there sometime. You just gotta laugh at the hate, and then if they say something specific that they didn't like, try to think of it in that perspective. Like, okay, why did they not like that? I didn't consider that. And then improve on that. And so, yeah, whenever you're asking for feedback, whether it's like your fans or maybe friends, we talk about this at NFTOPIA School, which we ran weeks ago. Like, you might want a buddy, somebody you can DM all your ideas and get feedback. They should not be a yes man. So if I was asking my roommate that, he'd be like, "That's awesome, yeah." No,
do it.
Puzzler, if she's around, she's my buddy, and she'll constructively criticize whatever it is I do, like, or try to poke holes in it. And in doing so, I'm getting things I didn't think about, and now I'm thinking about them. But doing it in a public way is even more engaging, and you're getting your points or your votes for it, because you're publishing it on Hive anyway, and you're looking for content anyway. So this is let's make some content and about my own content. So that's awesome.
And on top of that, if you have stake as well in Hive, you can reward the person for giving the feedback. And I think that's also like, yeah, it's like, hey, shit, you know what? I really value your comment. That's gonna give you a piece of the pie, the daily distributed pie. You know, like I think that's a wonderful way how you can share value, because it's value for value. You know, like I'm getting energy from you, and I'm gonna give you some energy back. I think it's wonderful. It's also like a no-brainer for me, for anyone to start building on Hive. Like, if you're a blockchain enthusiast, if you love Web3, if you truly understand and believe what decentralization is all about, then Hive is the place to start your journey, because there are only, well, not only there. It used to be only blockchain enthusiasts, but now it has grown to a wider audience, that a lot of people they just come and join. Some people who play Splinterlands, for example, they don't even know that they are playing on Hive, for example, or on Wax, because it's multi-chain, right? So
Yes. Well, the game data is all stored on Hive, but bridged currencies are part of it. So, but one thing that I kind of want to, because I'm just keeping an eye on chat here, and Gabe brought it up, and so Ruben's example is a brilliant example, because the idea is things you were going to do or needed to do anyways, asking for feedback, testing out, showing off a drawing that isn't finished yet. These become opportunities to crowdsource knowledge. They become a way to potentially earn a little bit. They become a way to distribute a little bit. But there was that sort of gentle touch on the idea of people that don't agree with you, that aren't going to give you the nicest feedback. And yes, there's value in that, obviously. Constructive criticism, incredible. And getting people who have different worldview, also incredible. And one of the easiest ways to do that, obviously, is to align incentives, which is, hey, if you come along to a post and you offer a counterpoint and some good discussion happens, absolutely, you're probably going to earn some upvotes. But there is, of course, Gabe touched on that, Sniper touched on that, you can have people who suck. The internet is full of people who suck. And there's two ways to kind of look at this in perspective of Hive. And we often get, this is a question that people kind of dance around and don't want to ask, right? Is if everything is kept on the blockchain forever, and there is someone who's really awful, then what? And that's a really interesting topic, because in our space, we believe very strongly that you should be able to say whatever it is you're going to say. You should be able to engage with whoever it is you want to engage with. But the problem then becomes, how do you protect people from, a person who is malicious or problematic, or who wants to use this in a way that's bad? And so in the Hive ethos and in the tech, the idea is it does not matter. We will never, never, never be able to stop you from speaking, even if you're a giant wiener. But what it means is there's degrees of difficulty to it. And so I wanted to touch on that. And so the first thing that Sniper was mentioning is there are downvotes in our system too. And they work a little bit differently than you might see on, like, before YouTube removed them. They're not just a visible thing. They impact the way that you see things on front ends. So if I came along to Ruben's video and I said, Ruben, I think your video is smelly, and I think your face is smelly, and I think you should never post anything like this again, there is an excellent chance that everybody is going to downvote the crap out of my comment. And what that means is it will be disappeared off most interfaces. When the sort of ratio of upvotes and downvotes happens, it will help control your visibility. But what it means is it didn't take it away. So if Ruben did want to click open that comment and read it, he could. I would still be able to leave 37 more comments if I really wanted to get everybody real mad at me. But I guess where I'm going with this is you have the protection of granularity in front ends. If I choose to mute you, not see you, that's fine. I control my journey where I don't need to see you, deal with you, interact with you at all. But I can't stop you either. And so my rights in this space end where yours begin. And I can choose that I want nothing to do with you, but I also can't take any rights away from you. And that's a really valuable thing in a day and age where, you could technically go over to Twitter and use a bunch of bots and mass report someone and shut down their account pretty much instantly. Trial, judge, jury, nothing, just gone. I can't do that on Hive. So the next question that comes up that we address, because it's a good question, is, all right, this isn't just a bad person. This is a really bad person. What happens next? And so the easiest way to kind of explain this, because I think it's an important part of, do I want to start building in an ecosystem that potentially could let a really bad person be really bad? And the answer is there's increasing degrees of difficulty and increasing degrees of granularity for you to continue using Hive to do really bad stuff. And the first one is everybody downvotes you and you're not in their feed and they mute you and they don't see you. The second one is, well, a whole front end could decide, you know what? You are really disruptive. You're really horrible. Maybe you're really hateful. We choose not to show your comments. Doesn't remove them from the blockchain, but anybody who comes through that front end, maybe it's PeakD, maybe it's Ecency, maybe it's DBuzz, you're not going to be shown there anymore. Okay, so now what do you have to do? Well, maybe you're going to have to make your own front end. Damn, you still have the power to say these things if you need to and you want to. How bad do you want it? Are you willing to take the next step and use these tools? The next step is, okay, well, your front end, maybe your ISP shuts you down, or maybe you're going to have to run your own RPC node to make sure that you can stream the blocks that you are putting into the blockchain. That's really tricky too. So the escalation can happen. Options are always available to you. The fact is no one can stop you from using Hive. But the flip side of it is no one can force you to consume something or engage with someone you don't want to on Hive. And that is a balance that we've lost in all other social media. There is always someone making a decision for you about what you can say and what you can read. And Hive removes that while still giving you tools to kind of create the space, the engagement, the relationships, the content that you want to see.
Yes, 100%. And it also incentivizes people to do more good than bad.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Aligning incentives is a big one. When you know that if you say something like Ruben is smelly, and you say it with your whole chest.
And it's true. It's true.
Stand, but well, me too. Oh my goodness. That's what the tank top today is, because whoo, she's hot. But the reality is you are going to have to stand behind it. It's going to be in your blockchain history. Remember how we talked about reputation? That's going to be there for somebody to go looking for a long time. So you're either going to have to prove you've changed. You're going to have to be like, yep, I stand behind it. I defend this point. One way or another, you're going to have to put a little bit of extra thought into how you engage with the world, because again, that's your reputation. What do you voluntarily choose to show everyone? And what do you feel proud of or comfortable with being a part of your reputation? And that is a way to align incentives, because, if you want to build a compelling set of relationships, if you want rewards, maybe you want to go for being an influencer, people don't like mean people. So figure it out. You don't have to be nice to succeed, but you do have to think a little bit about how you're building that reputation.
Nice.
Yep.
Let's take a quick pause, because we do have a map piece drop that's happened just now. I put it into the chat, because we have hourly map piece drops yesterday and today. We're on number 18 of 20 right now. So there it is, if everybody wants to grab it. And if you get all 20 pieces tomorrow, you'll be blending them all into the legendary treasure map, which is awesome. And you can see this awesome artwork too from Skunky Chunks. I'm also going to draw a winner, because we had a bounty block that just ended. But this is a great hour so far. If anyone has more questions, throw it at us. The Martian says, I was thinking this was NFT Hive. No, they're different. Hive and NFT Hive are different. We had Ben on earlier in the main stage. So this is a whole nother blockchain. What's the website for it? Hive Blocks? Or what is it?
Hive.io.
Just hive.io. That's it. Oh, it's right in there in your name. Yeah.
So yeah, hive.io is our main site. Hive.io is the blockchain website. So it's the foundation. What you will find is there is a lot of stuff built on top of it. You can go to a page on that website called Ecosystem, and you can explore different types of dApps like Crypto Shots, since Sniper is here. That's a game you can play. Splinterlands, you're probably familiar with. You can go there. Or if you're ready for content creation, there's a whole social section. PeakD, Hive.blog, Ecency, DBuzz, you name it, the Leo Threads,
Finance.
Leo Finance, different groups. They've got
Yeah,
an everything app.
I'd see that
So
that utility of what you're doing there. Anyone can do it. So anyone that writes stuff on social media, and if you like writing about anything at all, blogging, whatever you're interested, anything at all, just consider getting a Hive account and start posting on there, and you might be earning. You are earning reputation. You're going to be earning crypto along with it. Why do it over here when you can do it over here? And it seems like the Hive community is all about it. So they might get you some extra views as well, extra exposure beyond what you're doing over in the Web 2. So that's awesome.
Yeah. So I actually have an example of something. I did an announcement of the AMA of today, and I was asking Hivers and other people. Well, I was planning to do this in the beginning of the show, actually, but if anyone has a question and they would drop it under this blog post, I would reward them with some cryptocurrency in Hive, because I value the questions that are coming, and then if I can answer them, it's a win-win, But if I can give something else in return, like a little bit of reputation, because you attended not only this space, but you also attended a little bit in Hive by asking the question on chain, making it storing, like it's stored on the blockchain forever.
Yeah, that's awesome. I didn't know you did this. So you can click that link. So see that? It's like a Medium article, but here, instead of just being an article, you got your votes and your stuff. And these are all, look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah. Yes. So I was getting some rewards for my time writing this. And I can reward people who are who respond under the blog. Like it's like 19 cents. But still, I mean, like, how much money did you earn on Facebook? How much money did you earn on YouTube, or on Instagram?
Or even more exposure anyway to the Hive community. Like, you're trying to get it out.
Yeah.
Especially if it's a Web3 type article or something that involves Hive or Wax or any of these blockchains that work together a lot. That's great. That's a perfect place to put it. So.
Yeah, 100%. And despite rewards, because I came to Hive because I wanted to test it out for someone else. And I was like, whoa, holy shit, this is actually true. This is actually working. What the hell? So I stayed a little bit longer, and I'm still here. But I'm not here for the rewards anymore. I'm here for the people. Because, and not only for the people, I'm also here to create my own legacy. Like what Crimson Clad was saying, like, it's going to be stored on the blockchain. It will be there forever. It's publicly to see. And for me, it's building my legacy as a photographer. Like, if I die, I have my own website, right? But my hosting website is like, okay, I can pay up for like 5 years in front. And then that's it. After that, it's gone. So we have the ENS domains on Ethereum, for example. But for example, we have a very, very bad scenario in Hive Dice, for example. Like, it just shuts down. And there's only one single guy seeing something on the internet, like, hey, what's this Hive thing? And he's going to resurrect it. In order to do so, he has to start from block 0 until the last block, which basically means that all my content, all my data will be there in the resurrection of his blockchain, of his resurrection of Hive. So it will always be there. So like 100 years, Hive still exists. I'm still there. My knowledge, my wisdom, my information, everything that I shared will be there. All my mistakes as well. Also my douchebag comments, for example, will be there as well. Or the things that people find valuable will be there. It is really something else, and that's something so valuable to me. And
well, that alone can I guess some haters might not care, but it's like you gotta watch what you say, because you never know who might come see it later. So
that's that incentive aligning again. So, one of the things that we were kind of talking about there was the idea of, well, why would you do it somewhere else when you could do it on Hive? And what I like to kind of gently correct that is, why wouldn't you do it on Hive first and syndicate it outwards? Because the reality is, Web 2 is where all the eyeballs still are. Mm-hmm. Web 3 is the precursor of people starting to realize that they're valuable, and that relationships and information is worth protecting, and that identity should be yours to build and not somebody's to give to you. And so the flip side becomes, well, knowing that I'm going to post something, and yes, my MySpace could disappear, my Facebook, maybe I lose the access to the email, the ENS, I forget to pay it and I lose the domain. Well, if you start on Hive, if you syndicate your content outwards, all of a sudden you have sort of that long-term database that holds your content. It doesn't mean you can't put it on other sites. It doesn't mean you can't take it out to other social media, but it means you also can always point it back to a place where you know it lives. There's no broken links later where, you know, all of a sudden you clicked on somebody linked to, oh, this is the best article I've ever read, and you click on it and the website, the domain expired and the hosting is gone and you just really wanted to read that article. Well, here it is in Hive forever and ever and ever. Even if a front end's gone down, you can go straight to the blockchain in a block explorer and read it. So, I mean, that starts helping people think about, you know, data longevity. If it's not important to you, who cares? But if it is important to you, it's a free benefit that comes along with Hive. So, you know, one of the things you can do always is just put something into Hive and then pull it into your own website, or use it as the basis for a social media post elsewhere, because you maybe have already built a big following on Twitter, but nobody knows you on Hive yet. It's that network effect, and you can use both. And so there was a question in chat from the Martian saying, I do artistic work in IRL. I do drops on Wax. You know, how would Hive kind of fit into that relationship for me? If I wanted to use Hive as a tool for that journey, how would it help me succeed? And the answer is, yeah, do absolutely everything you're doing on Wax now. Create your art, but for example, there are incredible art communities. Maybe you want to talk to more people who are working in your medium. Maybe you want to get more people who potentially want to buy your artwork on Wax. Well, one of the best things you can do, for example, is maybe you want to write a little bit about the thing that happened in your life that got you inspired to write, you know, draw this design that you made. Or you want to write a process blog because you do a mixed media form of art that, you know, looks really cool but is complicated to create. That's fascinating. Think of how many people love to watch or hear about the process of somebody doing something that they don't know how to do. And so all of a sudden, you know, there's a piece that you've created that you're going to sell on Wax. But what if you gave it a backstory? What if you gave it additional context? What if you took it into a community like Alien Art Hive, which is a really cool community of artists on Hive that all share work with each other, that, you know, they're interested in looking at each other's work, they're interested in buying each other's work, and they're interested in giving each other feedback, sharing ideas, and then working together to market outside of Hive. You know, these are all things that you can do on Hive that can be a boost to the work that if you decide to post on Wax, or you want to, you know, make an NFT on ETH, or maybe you end up making it an NFT on Hive. You have lots of options, but all of a sudden, all the things that happen as part of your artistic process become points of connection, and you can share them or you don't have to. But if you're looking at ways to, you know, boost your success as an artist, the biggest thing is who buys your art now? People it resonates with, and more eyeballs that get to see it. If they don't see your art, they can't buy it. And so when you start going to busy communities full of people interested in the same things as you and saying, hey, here's my contribution, all of a sudden you've got a bunch of people who are either going to help share your work, give feedback, or maybe they'll be the one that wants to buy it. But the added bonus to Hive is you'll be earning a little bit of crypto potentially. They'll also be crypto knowledgeable. One of the hardest things for artists that are straddling that line today, who are working in the digital space, who are working with NFTs, is it's really difficult to get someone who isn't familiar with crypto to then buy your work. Hive is a place where people are really familiar with artists and content creators and the Web2 style of doing things, who have learned through social media how to interact with crypto ideas, like paying in crypto, like buying an NFT, why an NFT is valuable. And so you have this audience who's, again, kind of primed for you. You don't necessarily have to teach them, but they're also not those hardened Bitcoin maxis who don't want to see anything in crypto that isn't, you know, Bitcoin. My coin goes from A to B, my coin. So, you know, it's a really valuable thing to add to whatever you're doing in any crypto space. When you start writing and commenting, finding more people and bringing sort of more context to what you're doing, it's a real opportunity for you to potentially maybe make more sales, but if not, maybe make more friends, maybe make more people who will share your work, or maybe help some people get rewarded. And when they do buy it, get enough crypto, they may end up tossing some of it your way because of the relationship that you've built. It's tough to say, but all of those things are just an intrinsic part of Hive that would be very valuable to you for Wax or any other blockchain. You don't have to pick and choose.
Yeah.
And you can also share your journey as an artist on Hive.
Yeah, that's another content piece. Yeah, that was all so well said. Obviously, everything you say, Crimson, is very well said. But I want to piggyback on that too. I didn't really mean exclusively on Hive. Yeah, definitely keep posting on other places. But in addition to the longevity aspect, you got the feedback loop aspect. So if you started on Hive and then just throw it out there, like he was saying, for feedback because you're going to get those first because they're doing the reward, they're doing the points, and they're going to be honest about it because they want their comments to be upvoted. And then you can use that to improve. If it's not doing well there, then maybe now you want to edit your article or whatever until you have some content that's like doing well, and now you go and push it all to the Web 2 stuff. So that's a strategy.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I actually stopped.
Oh, sorry, I'm not going to say anything else after this, but just in chat, I dropped the link, for example, the Peak D community for Alien Art Hive, which is a long form blog interface. The Alien Art Hive is full of people making content about nothing but art and sharing art. If you click that, you'll see, hey, here's everything that's trending in there. It'll give you an example of what people are doing around their work.
A nice yeah, get some examples. Exactly. Go to the top rated ones, see why they're that way. Maybe write some similar topic things. Yeah, if you're trying to grow that way, it's awesome.
Mm-hmm. I actually stopped using Web 2 when I came to Hive. I only used Hive, and now I'm starting to use Web 2 again, but only to raise awareness for Hive.
Yes.
Because Hive is so censored right now. It's like shadow banned and all that kind of bullshit. And I know why, because it's so powerful. Like it's. Facebook is like monetizing their platform by ad revenue, right? So they sell their data. So they sell your data and they get money for it. On Hive, everything is public, so everything is free. So let that sink in. Like, if it's free, how much value does it have? How much value can you pay for it as an advertiser? Well, nothing. But then you can pay for something else that's more valuable, and that's like how to attract people on Hive. Is by giving a big upvote, for example, or initiating incentivized projects. And then you get a way more sincere response from the feedback, from the community. And that's something that's not really being done right now, but it is being done by Leo Finance, for example, when they were launching Threads, the equivalent of Twitter. So they had a huge campaign that they're like, hey, you know what? We're going to give away this much worth of money in crypto. And all you have to do is participate. And there's a system that keeps track of everything that you do. And people get rewarded in exchange. And while doing so, they also get rewarded in their cryptocurrency, Leo. So it's yeah, for me, it's a no-brainer. Like, if you're sincere, if you are honest, if you are not greedy, and if there's like a sustainable aspect to it, you can build anything on Hive. That's
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, this is the point of the hour. Anyone, I mean, y'all are welcome to stay here. But as far as this stream goes, I'm going to end up going to Nouveau. We're going to do our Nouveau hunt now. At Nouveau Hall, we're going to meet there at the Nouveau booth. I'm going to explain our little codes. There's a code right here on the end of the slide. I'm going to explain what they are, and then we're just going to run around and get all the codes. But this is also the social block. So between now and 3 hours from now, there'll be different people running around. It's not centered on a specific booth. So I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their day. And also the day so far, it's been amazing. Yesterday and today, just vibrant and amazing. We're learning so much stuff and had some good talks and discovering new products and projects, myself included, even though I've communicated with all these just to set all this up. But when we do these AMAs, now the deep dives, now it's like, oh, wow, I didn't know about this and this. And that's what the NFTOPIA is about. So thank you all for joining us. This has been awesome.
Thank
Thank
you
you for having us.
this event.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
have fun, guys.
Thank you, Hive. I mean, obviously for sponsoring too a large hall. I mean, here we are in this large booth. This is amazing. We couldn't do this without the sponsors and the exhibitors, clearly. So,
Oh, do you realize that you're not being funded by people, but by a protocol?
yeah, that's crazy.
That's
huh?
even more amazing.
Yeah, that is even crazier. That's awesome.
I'm actually doing work for Hive and not for people. I'm getting paid by the protocol, by the DAO.
Yeah.
By the
It's
fund.
a true collective, true decentralized collective. Like someone
Yeah.
said, Sniper said earlier, there's no CEO, there's no central company. It's all like
central
people like
capital.
Crimson are like volunteers as a head, but it's not they're not an official company head. It's a collective decentralized system.
All right, you guys go have so much fun with your hunt. I'm going to hang around the booth a little bit. If you want a Hive account or you want to ask any questions, I'll be farting around here.
All right,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
And Starkus just made it here, so maybe Starkus would just want to say hi.
Hi.
He's from Three Speak.
Oh, yeah, he's on Free Speak. He's like very knowledgeable about video and IPFS, and
Oh, nice.
he had some very interesting stuff to say about how to decentralize not only text-based content on Hive, but also like video and JPEG-based content through IPFS, and people can get rewards for hosting IPFS hosted content. So in a nutshell, if I have 100 gigabytes of storage and I want to devote it to some YouTube clips, well, Free Speak clips, I can put them on my computer, and I can be a person that is going to distribute the content to other people who are going to watch it later. And that's I think that's next level. Next level.
Well, if anybody wants to like not just dive in more, but like really build more and stuff, talk to some of these people that have been around, and they'll help you out for sure.
Sure will.
All right, anyone can stay here and talk Hive more. Great. Otherwise, if you want to follow me to Nuvo, also great. Or anywhere else in the whole space, I believe there's people running around. So go find somebody to chat with, y'all.